What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a film from a director that I really love a lot, and that is the director Bong Joon-ho. And I've only seen a few of Bong Joon-ho's films, and he has quite a few in his catalog, and I've always wanted to dive deeper and watch more of his movies, and I've been really excited to watch this movie because I've read a lot of really great reviews on it. It seemed like from reading about it initially that there's a lot of structure and framework very similarly to what he would come on to do later in Parasite, especially thematically in this film. And I was really looking forward to watching it. Didn't read a whole lot about the plot description other than some reviews of people comparing it to Parasite. And the movie I'm going to be discussing today is Mother. Mother is directed by Bong Joon-ho. A mother lives quietly with her son. One day, a girl is brutally killed and the boy is charged with the murder. Now it's the mother's mission to prove him innocent. So, I'm a big fan of Bong Joon-ho, so I assumed getting into this movie that it was going to have great cinematography, fantastic performances, and a lot of twists and turns, which is 100% what Bong is known for, and this movie did not disappoint. It was absolutely fantastic. 100% what I come to expect from Bong at this point. This movie came out in 2009, and what I find is interesting is a lot of people talked in comments and reviews discussing the thematic similarities in this film and Parasite, and I think there is a little bit, especially when it comes to class disparity and the way that people in lower income brackets are treated. I don't think it's as much as Parasite. I think it looks at it a little bit, but there's definitely a lot of themes that are explored, especially when it comes to the mistreatment of people who are disabled, which I thought was really interesting in this movie. Mostly, first and foremost, it's about the love a mother has for her son and the lengths that she's willing to go to protect him. And so in this film, we're introduced to our lead character who is known as Mother, and she lives at home with her young son, and her son is developmentally disabled. It's not 100% disclosed exactly what he has in the movie, but it's clear that he doesn't function the same as everyone else. And it's not that he's completely incapacitated. He still has friends. He's able to conduct conversations with his friends, go out, do things on his own. It's just when it comes to learning and retaining everything around him, he doesn't function 100%. And so at the beginning of the film, we see the mother working. She's cutting up some things in her home, and it's this really incredible shot of her looking out through this very small gap at her son hanging out with one of his friends. Something ends up happening where he ends up getting clipped by a car door. This whole really intense set of circumstances starts to unravel, and what we come to find is the mother's child has been accused of murder, and we get a sequence of him out drinking at this bar, and he sees this young girl, and he starts trying to hit on her, but he's slurring his words because he's been drinking. He's following her into this alleyway, and she disappears into this dark corridor. And he looks in there, and a rock comes out, like someone threw a rock, and we see him turn around and walk the other way, and it cuts back into the present time with the mother. And so the film is, he gets arrested for this murder, and the entire movie is the mother trying to figure out who actually committed the murder, because she does not believe that her son is capable of committing such a heinous act. And so she goes around and investigates people that are involved. She investigates her son's close friend. She investigates this group of people who were involved with a hit and run with their son at the beginning of the movie, these wealthy businessmen who went to this golf course, who hit her son with a car and just drove off. And so you have all these cast of characters, and this mother who, more than anything, you can see through her actions, will do anything to protect her son. And that is what I thought was so fantastic about this film, is that the way Bong Joon-ho depicts this mother's love for her child is fantastic, because rather than paint this mother as this very incredible human being who just does nothing but great things, she is a very flawed character. And the movie shows her flaws to a very extreme degree, including how overprotective that she is. And I think what's really great about the way Bong presents this information is you're constantly given that push and pull as an audience member of is she overstepping her bounds? grounds. Is she doing what's right for her child? And so you as the viewer are constantly pulled one way or the other as to hurt for her and then to feel like she's doing too much. And I thought that was really interesting because normally in this type of a movie, you know, you think of the most cliche revenge film or something about a parent going after their child. I think of something like Liam Neeson in the Taken films. And it's like he's just this guy who he's pretty much personalityless other than his love for his child, and he's willing to kill anyone in the way that's going to try to keep him away from his child. And that's like the most stripped down formulaic version I can think of. And in this type of a movie, the character is so layered, and obviously it's not a revenge tale, but it's more of a investigative tale of a mother trying to figure out why her son was convicted of this and who could have possibly done it. And I think having the character be so layered and have character flaws makes it a much more interesting watch. And then the son's character and having this developmental disability, and we see the way that he's mocked and the way that he's treated and the horrible things that he's called just because he's the way that he is. I thought that added a whole nother layer to it, and the complexity of him being arrested for this crime, not fully comprehending what he's being arrested for, and then looking at the way that the police force treated the situation. It's really interesting to think, because I'm from the US, obviously this film's taking place in Korea, but it's interesting to see the similarities in the way that the police force is structured and how like they're trying to explain it to this kid who most of these officers grew up around this family. They know who this kid is. They know that he doesn't operate on the same level as everyone else, and almost trying to coerce him into believing that he's done this thing that he's not even sure that he's done. And I thought that was a really interesting thing as well. Typical as per Bong Joon-ho's style, the cinematography in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. There's so many shots in this that just stick out in my brain. And for such a small scale character study, there doesn't even need to be this level of attention to detail to the cinematography, but it's clear through Bong's entire filmography. He is very, very focused on making sure that it plays such a pivotal part in the film. And it's just beautiful to look at. The performances in this, especially the lead actress who plays the mother, it's just absolutely incredible to see every single one of these actors give it their 100% to bring across this really unique and immersive story. And like I said, it's interesting because similar to Parasite, there are moments of comedy in this as well. Even though the subject matter for the most part is incredibly dark and depressing, I think it's interesting how Bong is able to incorporate those little moments of comedic levity to kind of pull you out of just how intense and disturbing and upsetting that the main portion of the story is in this movie. And I don't think it would work as well if it was in the hands of someone else. I think Bong is incredible at telling these types of stories, and I just love South Korean cinema. There's so many amazing movies that come out of South Korea, but Bong Joon-ho is just one of the best to ever do it. He continues to impress me, and this is a movie that you 100% should watch, especially if you saw Parasite and you really love it. This movie's in a very similar vein to Parasite as far as like it exploring a lot more under the surface than just the very simplistic story of this mother going out of the way to try to protect her son. There's a lot going on underneath the surface, and I think there's a lot to unpack that you'll really appreciate. So have you seen Mother? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was fantastic, typical to Bong Joon-ho. I just thought everything about it was great. I really enjoyed the performances, and I look forward to watching more in his catalog. As always, if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.